We're at Easter Road for the first time this season for our live match from the Bank of Scotland Scottish Premier League. It's Hibernian against Dundee United. Well, it's been tough at the top for Hibs since they were promoted as runaway winners of the First Division. But they're adapting, and tonight they could complete the month of October undefeated. As for Dundee United, well, you really aren't ever too sure just what you're going to get. But they've won the last 3 in the road, and that man, Billy Dodds, has scored in every game. Charlie Nicholas, will Dodds be the difference tonight, do you think?
I think it's fairly even, Jim, I have to say. I think we Hibs playing at home. I think they like to play a passing game through the centre of midfield, in particular Soze and Latterby, who's been questioned about his work rate, but is doing the business last weekend against Dundee. I think United are different. It'll be down the flanks, good supply into Faraz, and then little Doddsy to play his usual link-up role. I think it's very easy. It's a hard one to call. I think it could be a scoring draw tonight.
Do you think Hibs, Charlie, have turned the corner at last?
No, I don't think yet. I'm not totally convinced by them. I think they have to start winning their home games. So it'll prove a point tonight. If they do win their home games, Jim, I would agree with you then.
OK, Charlie. Well, if Hibs avoid defeat tonight, they'll move above St Johnstone into 6th place. A win would put them within a point of City neighbours' Hearts. As for Dundee United, well, victory would put them within 4 points of Celtic and open a 7-point gap over 4th-placed Motherwell. Let's join our match commentators tonight, Davy Provan, and first, Ian Crocker.
Thank you, Jim. Well, Hibs' 2 wins this season came against Dundee. Can they inflict more misery on that city by beating Dundee United, who themselves have looked good so far? Hibs' cause has not been helped recently by injuries to fullbacks Michael Rennick and Paul Lovering. John Hughes and Stuart Lovell are other casualties, but at least Pat McGinley and Mark Dempsey have shaken off flu symptoms to take their place in an unchanged lineup. Mixu Patelainen faces his former club. Ex-Fulham striker Dirk Lehmann is on the bench.
Yeah, they did very well last week in beating Dundee 5-2, and I think Alec will be delighted to be able to name the same starting 11 tonight. There might be a bit of an aerial battle for Sean Dennis and Mark Dempsey with Joachim Faraz coming in for United. It's a very well-balanced midfield. Bremner and McGinley, both box-to-box midfielders. They'll get up and down all night. Soze at a stage in his game, as Charlie suggested, that he wants to sit with the game in front of him, and that's no bad thing given his passing ability. And look for this man, Russell Latterby, so crucial to Hibs, getting into the last third where he does his best and most dangerous work.
Well, Dundee United make one change from the side that won at St Johnstone midweek. Craig Easton returns, Scott McCulloch drops to the bench. Stephen Thompson is still out with a knee injury, so giant Portuguese striker Joachim Faraz again partners Billy Dodds up front. Alan Coon was a doubt with a thigh strain, but he's made it. Recently signed Canadian keeper Pat Onstad is one of the subs.
Yeah, they have played most of their best football recently on the road. They're well suited to playing on the counter-attack. Just looking at the United side, look at Hugh Davidson there, who impressed us all in the Dundee derby. He's going to play on the left-hand side tonight. When the sides met earlier this season, Dundee United won 3-1, and much of that was down to Craig Easton going man-to-man with Russell Latterby. It wouldn't surprise me if that were the case again tonight, and it's a good mix up front. Billy Dodds, as Charlie was saying, will feed off the second ball, the knockdowns from Joachim Faraz, and Dodds in absolutely irresistible form these days.
Well, Hibernian have played some of the best football I've seen in Scotland this season. Others, including Messrs Advocat and Barnes, agree, so it's a bit of a mystery as to why they're down in 8th place. Dundee United are seeking their 7th league win of the season. Last season they only managed 8 wins throughout the entire campaign. And that tells you just how much they've improved. There's always an excellent atmosphere at Easter Road. It's the second meeting between the teams this season. Dundee United won 3-1 at Tannadice last month. Russell Latterby is the chief playmaker here, but Dwight York's Trinidad and Tobago teammate doesn't just create goals, he scores them too, bagging a brace in last week's demolition of Dundee. Mixu Patelainen faces his former club. The Finnish international striker's career in British football began at Dundee United over a decade ago. He spent 5 seasons with them. Billy Dodds has been in fantastic form this season, the star of Scotland's Euro 2000 qualifying campaign. Really can do no wrong at the moment. England beware soon, Hibs beware tonight. It's a wet and windy, blustery evening in the city of Edinburgh. A night made for Halloween. Are we in for a trick or a treat? It should be the latter. These two teams have played some lovely flowing football at times this season, and this is a chance for them to show us what they can do. Hibs a side who love to attack, and inevitably they've left themselves exposed at times this season. Indeed, they've yet to keep a clean sheet. Dundee United, who will kick us off, appear to have put last season's miserable campaign behind them. They finished second from bottom, only 6 points clear of relegated Dunfermline. At the moment, though, Dundee United are sitting pretty and proudly in third place. Hibs, though, have the incentive of jumping up to 6th in the table if they win here. And I think it's going to be a tight tussle, difficult one to call.
Yeah, it's going to be very tricky for the players as well, given the conditions here tonight. The surface is fine, but a very, very strong wind blowing all around the stadium. It's not going to be easy for the lads out there tonight.
Dundee United played in midweek. They won 1-0 at St Johnstone, a rather scrappy affair. But Paul Sturrock, so far, has had a pretty good campaign, although he still thinks the best is yet to come in this team, but then I suppose managers always do. Dodds challenging with Tom Smith. Smith, who's come into the side because first choice left back Paul Lovering is amongst the injured. Dodds. And it was collected by Brebner in the midfield for Hibs. Got Skalpson. Partridge sends one up towards Ferraz, but that will gather pace.
Yeah, just overcooked it a bit, just asking a bit too much of Joachim Ferraz. Not as mobile as Stephen Thompson. Ferraz. It wasn't a bad ball by Partridge in behind. I think the wind contributed to it going out the pitches as much as anything else. And as I said, Ian, it's going to be tricky for them out there, particularly the goalkeepers in judging cross balls this evening. There really is a gale blowing around Easter Road this evening.
Here's Hugh Davidson, who really impressed us in the Dundee derby live on Sky Sports. And of course he allows Russell Latterby to nip in and win it back for Hibs. A lot of what Hibs do will centre on Latterby. Telesnikov, Davidson's first time touch, but it was duly dealt with by Dempsey. Latterby. Matthias Jack. Kenny Miller, very talented teenager who scored a dramatic winner at Dundee in the second week of the season. And that 7-goal thriller. Patalainen's little flip. Away by Partridge. Former West Ham youngster. Smith's throw. Mixu Patalainen. It's trickled over the line. It'll be a Dundee United throw-in, and Mixu's not a happy man.
Yeah, he's doing a good job for Alec McLeish these days. Maybe coming towards the twilight of his career, but he's been over the course before, always liable to win your knockdown.
Dundee United have only lost 2 of their last 9 away matches. Sozi, Jack. Matthias Jack, the German defender. Down the line for Brebner. He's got a bit of a job on his hands because straight across to meet him was David Partridge.
Yeah, Partridge was always favourite, wasn't he? And he certainly didn't miss Brebner.
Russell Latterby. Oh, he's done well to get his cross in. And it was knocked away as Patalainen rose on the far post.
Yeah, it was a super ball in by Latipi, who, as I suggested, is being picked up man-to-man by Craig Easton, but he did ever so well with hardly any space here at all. Back to goal, made half a yard, whipped it in, wonderful ball, and Patalainen was putting DeVos under pressure at the back post. Good move by Hibs. What a good ball that is, plenty of pace on it.
On by Davidson. Oh, and Billy Dodds is in here. Mistake by Dempsey. Dodds going for the chip over the keeper. And it's crossed the line. And Dundee United are off to a flyer with a moment of magic from Billy Dodds.
Yeah, typical Billy Dodds. The error there by young Mark Dempsey. And I just wonder if the wind to the part to play in this. I'm sure Scarlson thinks this is going over the crossbar here. Billy Dodds looks up, measures the chip. Scarlson thinks that's going over, and it may just have held up in the wind enough to take it just under the crossbar. It's a delightful finish by Billy Dodds. But look at the goalkeeper here. I'm sure he thinks that's going over the crossbar, and I think the wind played a big part in that. Typical Billy Dodds opportunism and irresistible form these days. And what a start for him this evening.
Billy Dodds with his 7th of the season. And Dundee United doing rather well on the road yet again, even if that did seem to be rather wind assisted. Brebner putting himself about with Hannah. Patalainen to Latipi. Hibernian looking for an immediate response. Sozi. Hannah, cut out by Latipi. Patalainen finds Sozi, who's a late lunge from Hugh Davidson, and he's going to bring a free kick to Hibs. It's a long way out, but don't bet against Frank Sozi having a go, although it might be too far even for him. He's just going to chip it in. He does just that, but it swirls away to nowhere as far as Hibernian are concerned.
I don't think that's a bad ball. I think he's looking for somebody to come and attack that. You can see his displeasure there after he played it into a good area.
Billy Dodds doing the business yet again for Paul Sturrock. Really has been an inspired signing for them. Sozi, Smith, Jason DeVos snapping into Patalainen. And Hibernian, after tonight, will still be seeking their first clean sheet of the season. Ferraz. Aimed towards Hugh Davidson. Jack is with him. Not for long, perhaps, if Davidson can get his way. Credit to Jack, though, who persisted. Latipi. Easton shadowing him, as maybe thought he might. Here's Kenny Miller. Good running from Brebner. First time centre. Oh, and it might be an own goal here. It is going to be an own goal from Jason DeVos. And incredibly, it's 1-1 already.
Yeah, it's a wonderful move. And the architect behind it initially was Kenny Miller, releasing Grant Brebner on the right. A good first-time ball into the middle. DeVos under pressure, running towards his own goal. And the miscue took it into the net. But it's a wonderful piece of play by Miller. Dropped off the front, released Brebner. A great early ball. And DeVos under pressure turns it into his own net. And it's game on here at Easter Road tonight. What a start we've had. And there wasn't much Alan Coombe could do about that.
Hibernian quickly back on level terms here. And it's already proving to be a pulsating encounter. Ferraz. Just nudged out of play by Dennis. couple of goals in the opening stages. Billy Dodds on target for Dundee United, but it was quickly countered out by Jason DeVos's own goal. Here's Easton. Well, Billy Dodds continued his excellent scoring run, and Dundee United players have scored both the goals in this game. An OG for the big Canadian. Davidson. Latapy under pressure from Easton. Free kick given against Craig Easton. It's going to be quite a tussle, isn't it, then?
Yeah, it certainly is. Craig Easton did a good marking job on him at Tannadice when United beat Hibs earlier on this season. And he's sticking very tight to him in this game so far.
Kenny Miller chasing this. Partridge, though, will marshal it behind. £40,000 buy from West Ham last season. Pasquale. He was looking for Ferraz, but it was dealt with by Dempsey. Tom Smith. DeVos over the head of Dodds, but not of Dempsey. Ferraz, who's not got a bad touch for a big man. He's been fouled by Frank Sosi. David Hanna then with this free kick for Dundee United. Davidson will struggle to get on the end of that one.
Yeah, the wind's all over the place in the ground tonight. I think David Hanna thought that might hold up. It actually just run away from Hugh Davidson on the left-hand side there. But we're not complaining. It's been a decent start tonight, eh?
Yes, the wind certainly playing its part. Oleg Skaltson has been suffering from it. Flicked on by Patalainen. Davidson immediately put under pressure by Matthias Jack. Free kick will be taken by the Israeli international Jan Telesnikov, who's settled in pretty well. Sosi was putting himself about, and he might be the beneficiary here as Patalainen returned it to him. Latterby making the run. The race was on, but the first man to it was Alan Cook.
Yeah, David Partridge did well there because Latterby was in behind Craig Easton there. He would have been in on the goalkeeper, but for the intervention of David Partridge.
Latterby. Too much on that one as well. He'll drift behind for a goal kick from the Trinidad and Tobago international, Russell Latterby, 31 years of age now. Played a lot of his career in Portugal with Boavista and Porto. Alex McLeish's side made a really good start on their return to the top flight. Beaten in the first 4 games. They then lost 4 in a row, though. Not that he was ever one to get carried away in the first place. It was entertaining to watch, though. Brebner finding Miller. Jack. Brebner to Miller again. Matthias Jack in support. Bodies arriving in the box too. And one of them was Brebner. Another chance.
Yeah, they moved the ball well there. Once again, young Miller was involved. Finally, it's Matthias Jack with a good ball into the area. Grant Brevner trying to get on the end of it and just slices it wide of the target. But significantly again, young Kenny Miller involved, and his mobility is giving United problems.
Dodds. Telesnikov. Outside him is Hugh Davidson. Promising perhaps for Dundee United. It would have been had Davidson been able to deliver.
Well, this was a moment where I'm sure Ole Gottskallsen is faults by the wind here. He didn't move his feet quickly. I'm sure he thought that was going over the crossbar, and it just held up perfectly for Billy Dodds to claim the first goal. This is a tremendously worked goal. Good early ball in. Not a lot DeVos could do. And although it's an OG, it was a fine move by Hibs to put him under pressure in the first place.
Jason DeVos signed from Darlington a year ago. Frank Sosie. Straight through to Alan Coombe. Dundee United are actually unbeaten in their last 5 encounters with Hibs, although I know Hibs were pretty aggrieved that they were beaten 3-1 at Tannadice last month. They felt they had as much of the game, if not more. Pat McGinley. Kenny Miller. They're spraying the passes around, as we know they can do. Smith. And they keep doing it. Across it goes to Matthias Jack. Up towards Patalainen. Pasquale sticking with him. Here's Brevner though, he delivers. Miller's in there. Alan Coombe came and caught.
Yeah, that's great goalkeeping by Coombe under real pressure there. It was a good delivery from Grant Brevner on the right-hand side. And Alan Coombe takes the pressure off his defenders here. If you're a defender here, you're looking for your goalkeeper to come early, call early, and Coombe did exactly that.
Ferraz has found Hugh Davidson here. Dundee United getting bodies in the box as well. But Ole Gottskallsen got there first ahead of David Warren. And now Hibs burst straight back up the other end. Suzy looking for Patalainen, cut out by DeVos. Telesnikov. Davidson on to Ferraz, who invited the challenge from Sean Dennis. Hugh Davidson will take the throw. Easton. Straight underneath his boot. Still Hibernian can't quite dig it out though. Easton has it. Just blocked by Russell Latapy. Telesnikov. Dodds. Away by Jack. Dodds is down injured at the moment, and he'll be able to get treatment now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get a free kick from Stuart Dougal. I thought he was taken late there by Pat McGinley. And you can see what Dodds himself thinks of it. And the last thing we want, Ian, is this man getting injured, I can tell you. And the kind of form he's in. He just plays it away, and he's caught well late there by Pat McGinley.
Well, he's got up and he's getting on with it, Billy Dodds. Patalainen's flick to Kenny Miller. And there was a little nudge on him by Bernard Pasquale. It's a free kick to Hibs. Brevner sent it in. Away by Hannah. Difficult to work out where that was going to go in the wind. Here's Ferraz. Being hassled by Brevner, who did enough in the end. More than enough. Patalainen, neatly chested down for Sozi, but he was just caught out by the backtracking Wirral. Line proving to be a real nuisance, and he's been tripped.
Yeah, he won't mind a physical battle. Quite happy if Hibs were to play upstairs all evening. He'll win his share.
Frank Sozi, I do believe he's going to go for it. Oh, and Alan Coombs had to push it behind. A free kick that Sozi is renowned for.
Well, if you're Joe Bloggs, you might get stick from your teammates for having a goal from 45 yards, but when you've got a Champions Cup winners medal in your pocket, I suppose you can get away with that.
Latterby's corner. And he's going to get the chance to send another one in. Time to jostle for position. In fact, the corner was snapped short to Smith, who does send it in, and Alan Coombs takes that one. There was a slight doubt about his fitness before this game. He'd been suffering with a thigh strain. In fact, they recently, Dundee United, signed the Canadian international keeper Pat Onstad as backup to Coombs. Matthias Jack. DeVos up towards his fellow big man Ferraz. Dodds, and it's just flicked out of play by Dennis. Telesnikov. It's an exciting player. And it's going to be going the way of Hibs. That, Jan Telesnikov, another of Dundee United's recent signings. He'll be involved in the Euro 2000 playoffs when Israel face Denmark. And so will Ayel Berkovic, next there to the Israeli national coach, former West Ham man, now with Celtic. We're keeping him awake.
It's not that bad, is it? I thought it was a decent game.
I bet he'll say that's the only time I yawned all night. And Dundee United getting in a bit of a mess with DeVos and Pasquale in each other's way. Can Hibs benefit? Dodds. Davidson. Offside against Ferraz.
Very tight. I think Sean Dennis just stepped up in time. They'll be looking right across there at the last defender, and there wasn't a lot in it.
In fact, it's being pulled back for an earlier free kick. Midway through the first half, 1-1. Pasquale with that wind-assisted free kick. Offsiding this time.
Yeah, David Hanna had just wandered too far forward there. And he's being asked to get forward so much more in this United team formation these days. When Paul Sturrock bought him, I think originally it was to sit in front of the back line and protect him, but he's being asked to get forward a lot more now for United.
DeVos, hardly the greatest of first touches, but he's nearly puts Billy Dodds away. Nearly, but not quite. Partridge will knock it out of play. Hibs currently 8th in the table, 6 points better off than the bottom club Aberdeen. Dennis neatly finding Smith. Latterby. Matthias Jack picked up on a free transfer for Fortuna Dusseldorf. Central defender, really, but filling in at right back because Hibs have a few injury problems. Mixu Patalainen. Really got caught in a burst of wind, that did, I think. Telesnikov. Easton. Wirral. Stayed in play. Helped on by Patalainen. Partridge apparently being fouled by Miller. Telesnikov stepped away from Soze. Partridge towards Ferraz. Header won by Dennis. They always look pretty comfortable on the ball, Hibs, and Latterby could be away here. McGinley, Patalainen and Miller in the middle. Here's Patalainen. And they've divoted somewhat. Soze. Matthias Jack. Goal kick. Our Monday night football this week comes from Anfield. The Bradford boss Paul Jewell goes back to where it all began for him quite some time ago. Liverpool against Bradford City, Monday at 7 on Sky Sports 1. Interactive coverage for Sky Digital viewers on Sky Sports Extra. Ferraz flicked it on. Dodds. Ferraz tripped by Brebner, who's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, I think if you're a forward, you're entitled to look for protection. And Grant Brebner just comes straight through Joachim Ferraz there from behind. I don't think he can have too many complaints about that.
First yellow card of the game for Grant Brebner. What can Dundee United do with the free kick? It's taken by Telesnikov. Flicked on by DeVos. David Hanna. Believe it or not, that was a shot on target. Meant to be on target. Certainly wasn't on target. David Hanna back at Dundee United, rejoined them after a couple of seasons with Celtic. Information of Grant Brebner's yellow card. Brebner, the former Manchester United rookie, won the header. Here's Smith. Kenny Miller looking to match onto it, but straight through to Kuhn.
Yeah, it's not a bad ball, but Hibs not really getting the advantage of the wind. I'm sure they'll be happier in the second half, playing into the wind where the ball in behind might hold up a bit for them.
Patalainen helped it on, but Craig Easton was right next to Russell Latterby. But then he ran into Soze. Brebner tried a little flick, which didn't quite come off. Almost though. Telesnikov straight at Jack. Brebner. Kenny Miller's after this. And he got caught in a bit of a Dundee United sandwich, but it's a corner.
Yeah, he did well. He is so mobile, and he's in between Pasquale and DeVos here, but he's not going to give the chase up. And he puts him under enough pressure to win a corner. I'm not convinced that, in fact, it wasn't Miller who got the last touch, but he'll take the corner quite gladly, and it'll be Grant Brebner who's going short for it.
Latterby. Dennis on the far post. And Hibs get a throw and a chance to keep the pressure on as we approach the half-hour mark at Easter Road. Matthias Jack has become a popular figure in a short space of time at Easter Road. Patelainen flicked it on. Away by Pasquale. Latapi setting up Smith. Charged down by Dodds, incidentally, who was back helping out. Davidson. David Hanna. Wirral finding DeVos. Dundee United's throw. Telesnikov. Over the top here for Billy Dodds. Skaltsin committed himself and a little fortunate in the end after a ricochet.
Yeah, tremendous little chip there from Jan Telesnikov to put Billy Dodds in. It just comes off Sean Dennis here on its way through to Ole Gutskalskin. Delightful ball in there by Telesnikov. Patelainen's flick didn't come off, and Ferraz. Well, quickly in with Dempsey, but he's hurt himself as he cleared that. Back on his feet, mind you. Here's Latapi. And here is Dempsey. Bremner. Header steered away by DeVos. Easton, never far from Latapi, but Gibbs looking to create something here. Matthias Jack, it came at him at a fair pace, and Davidson has a chance to break away here. Jack's getting back. Good defending in the end from Mark Dempsey. David Partridge should be the keepers. Ole Gutskalsson. Still seeking his first clean sheet of the season, the Icelandic international. Smith. Miller. McGinley. Jack. Opens up a bit in front of Matthias Jack. Now Kenny Miller. Partridge's clearance went straight to Bremner. Patelainen's header comfortably collected by Alan Coombe. Yeah, it's the kind of ball that Mikko Patelainen enjoys attacking. He just couldn't get enough power on it.
Dodds doing what he does best. Although he does quite a few things rather well. Davidson sliding it in towards Ferraz and Telesnikov, and Dundee United are back in front, and it's the little Israeli who proved to be an influence.
Yeah, Matthias Jack caught out of position here in the right back area. Hugh Davidson with all the time to look up and measure the cross. Faraz steps over it, and Telesnikov says thank you very much at the back post. A good ball across to the front post. The step over from Faraz, and Telesnikov gets his reward for supporting his strikers into the box there. Simple tap in for the Israeli midfielder. A well-worked goal from United, and a good ball in from Hugh Davidson, playing in the left-hand side tonight. Just deceived Sean Dennis at the front post, and Telesnikov wasn't going to miss from there.
Telesnikov making quite an impact at Dundee United. Well, we thought there were goals in this game, and these two teams have proved us right. Billy Dodds, as ever, he's not scoring, he's involved, and he was in the build-up to that second goal, but he scored the first himself. Jason DeVos's own goal levelled it up, but Telesnikov pouncing to put Dundee United back in front. Miller looking to hit back to Hibbs though, and Partridge has pulled him back, and that's going to be a free kick, and I think it might be a ticking off at the least for Partridge.
Yeah, it's super play though by young Miller, who looks more assured every time I see him. The quick turn, he's on his way. Right arms up there from Partridge, there's no doubt about that. And the mobility of this young man really is giving United problems tonight.
Sosie to take this. Stuart Dougal just making sure the two-man wall had got back. Sosie sent it in. Oh, it's gone all the way through. And Brebner is going to have a blast. DeVos. Dodd's looking to get there, and he might just. Not the wife would sound surprised. And how about that for a pass as well? Handball though by Hugh Davidson.
Oh, what a tremendous switch there from Billy Dodds on the counter-attack. And as usual, he's putting in the full shift tonight, the Scotland striker.
Yeah, he could be in line for another man of the match award at this rate, couldn't he?
I'd say we'll need to build a wine cellar under the house if he is.
I think we should all go around his house. The amount of man of the match awards we've given him. The champagne. Dodds awaiting this free kick, which will be taken by the scorer of Dundee United's second goal, Telesnikov. David Hanna. Oh, he caught that rather nicely.
Yeah, caught it very well, not closed down there. And he strikes this well here, it's not cleared properly, breaks to David Hanna. And he has enough room here that he fancies it, and he struck it well. That's not far off target.
Davidson's header, Ferraz. Telesnikov assisted by Easton. Here's Jack though, Miller. McGinley. It's not quite going to work for Hibbs. Easton hoping it's going to carry, but it wasn't, and it's so the goal kick's been given.
Yeah, he's done a good job on Russell Latterby tonight, Craig Easton. They really haven't managed to get him on the ball in the kind of areas he does his best work in, and by that I mean the last third of the pitch. It's been a good contest.
Dennis and Brebner got in each other's way, and Sean Dennis wasn't slow in telling Grant Brebner what he thought of that one. Hanna's throw. Telesnikov. Easton. Don't think Wirrell's going to get to that somehow. Alex McLeish did get to it though. Dennis. Central defensive partner is Dempsey. Smith advancing. DeVos sent it into the stand. Tom Smith joined last season from Clydebank. Finds Latterby with this throw, and Judy gets it back. And Easton rather cleverly gets the goal kick.
Yeah, he's done well tonight defensively, Craig Easton. Came into the United side a couple of seasons ago, more or less as an attacking midfield player. But he's picked up Russell Latterby tonight. He really hasn't let him play. And he's always been back there to protect his back line.
Hanna. Straight at McGinley, who elects for an up and under towards Miller, away by Pasquale, only to Sosie. Brebner caught it really well. Very, very close from Grant Brebner.
That's a terrific effort there from Grant Brebner. David Partridge just doesn't get close enough, quickly enough to him here. And that's why he fancies this. And that dips inches over the crossbar. Fine effort from Grant Brebner. Just not enough topspin to bring it down quickly enough. Partridge just doesn't get to him quickly enough.
Brebner joined earlier in the season from Reading. He actually had a loan spell here a couple of seasons ago when he was on Manchester United's books. Soze. Jack. McGinley. Miller. He's going to get a free kick. Kenny Miller, the foul by Pasquale.
Yeah, not before time. Bernard Pasquale, one of the best man-to-man markers in the business, but he has his work cut out tonight with this young man. And that's overdue. I just wonder if Frank Soze might fancy this one.
The Hibs fans encourage him to have a go, but I don't think he really needs that much encouragement, having said that. Frank Soze, the Frenchman, the European Cup winner, sizing this one up. Soze straight against the wall, gets a second chance, and nowhere nearer the corner flag than the goal. I think his expression said it all. So Alex McLeish's side trailing at the moment, and really so far this season they haven't had too much reward for some of the entertaining football they have produced. Paul Sturrock's side, on the other hand, are right up there in third place. Last season's dismal showing, fast becoming a fading memory. Ferraz, Davidson. Dodds is, the flag's up for offside. Dennis's pass slid all the way through to Coop. That one's going to land soon, and it landed on the head of Dennis. Patalainen. Pasquale covering, Coombe kicking, Dodds chasing, but Jack closing the door. Sean Dennis, another wayward one, even though the wind didn't help. Might have been heading in that direction anyway. Davidson with Dundee United's throw. It's going to skim away from Dodds. Dempsey finding Patalainen. McGinley has got Smith in space, and that's where he's going. A bit casual from him, mind you. Latterby. McGinley's strike blocked. Ferraz. Patalainen. Dundee United have got a man down at the moment. We're going to stop play actually, so treatment could be given.
I think it's David Hanna that took a slow one there on the wrong end of Pat McGinley's effort.
He was certainly fiercely struck by McGinley. And David Hanna certainly felt it, a touch winded by that.
I think both sides have done well out there tonight, Ian. I know it's hard for the viewers at times to appreciate the conditions, but the wind really is gusting strongly from left to right as we look out from the gantry here. It's been very difficult for them, and I think they've given us a decent game.
A very blustery evening, but at least it's not raining at the moment. It was earlier. David Hanna's up on his feet. Still recovering though. Hugh Dallas, the fourth official today. He was involved in the St Johnstone Celtic game, of course, last weekend. A controversial last-minute goal, and strangely enough, he went and did Lazio Leverkusen in midweek in the Champions League, and the same thing happened to him. A goal in the opening stages of that game, which just sneaked over the line and was given. A chance here for Hibs to make progress, but in the end it was not the greatest of balls from McGinley, straight through. DeVos. It's going to skip its way through to Ole Gottskálksson. Icelandic international who also represented his country at basketball. I tell you we're impressed by that statistic, David. Here's Jack. Away by Hanna. Right away, in fact. So the closing seconds of the first half. Davidson, who he's stepped away from Matthias Jack. Telesnikov. And Telesnikov perfectly picking out Hanna, who is flawed and who loses out in the throw-in stakes. Stuart Dougal brings the first half to an end in very windy conditions at Easter Road. Jan Telesnikov putting Dundee United 2-1 up when he was in the right place at the right time. An eventful first half. Jason DeVos scored an own goal, and that cancelled out the first of the game, which came, perhaps not too surprisingly, from Billy Dodds. You get the feeling there might be a few more goals to come in this one, though. Dodds with a chip that appeared to catch the wind and certainly caught out Ole Gottskálksson. Jason DeVos with a miscue which ended up rather agonisingly in his own net. Oops. Dundee United back in front though when Davidson slid it in, and there was Telesnikov to pounce. And at half-time at Easter Road, it's Hibernian 1, Dundee United 2.
The second half now. Let's rejoin Davy Provan and Ian Crocker.
Thank you, Jim. Hibernian to start the second half here, and they've made a change for the second half as well, with Derek Collins, spent most of his career with Greenock Morton, coming on in place of Mark Dempsey. Dundee United are seeking their 5th away win on the spin. It's looking good for them at the moment. They lead by 2-1, but you get the feeling there's a lot more left in this game yet.
Yeah, certainly in these conditions it wouldn't surprise me if there were a few goals still to come. The introduction of Derek Collins just means that Matthias Jack will move into his more favoured centre-back role beside Sean Dennis there.
Collins quickly involved in the action. Hibs no doubt fired up by the words of Alex McLeish at half-time. Hatalainen made some sort of contact, so did Sozi, but That one's into row K.
Yeah, he's not backward at coming forward when it comes to having a go, is he? Always looking to get something on target. And Alec McLeish could do with him coming up with something a bit special at the moment, because Hibs need it.
I'm sure Dirk Lehmann will play a part at some stage, but the one change so far, Mark Dempsey off and Derek Collins on. Ooh. Dodds trying to sneak in, but it was dealt with by Dennis. Dundee United lying third in the table at the moment, just the Old Firm above them. I say just, here's Dodds. David Worrell nearby, if he needs to use him. He might do. In the end, he was nailed by Pat McGinley. Free kick, which will be taken by Telesnikov.
Yeah, it's a chance for DeVos to go up to the back post and put Hibs under pressure here.
Telesnikov sent it in, got Skalson came to meet it and made firm contact. Craig Easton, Scottish under-21 international, let it run for the throw. Here's Latterby. Latterby slipping it through to Brebner. Will Smith get there first? David Worrell. Well, poor clearance in the end from Worrell. It went straight to Latterby. McGinley dummied. Soze setting himself up for another strike, and it was blocked by Hanna. Took the sting out of it, David Hanna.
Yeah, David Hanna did well to charge it down, because the space had opened up for Soze, and he's always liable to punish you from that range. It's a booking.
Hanna's challenge was a yard away from Stuart Dougal.
Yeah, you can see the acknowledgement there. And Stuart Dougal was only a couple of yards away, so he wasn't going to get away with that one. No case for the defence.
One booking each, with Grant Brebner yellow carded for Hibs. Smith, Russell Latterby. Easton, as usual, breathing down the back of his shirt. DeVos won the header, and in any case, the flag was up. Coombs kick. Jack finding Smith, who's going to send it back to his keeper. Easton. Jack keeping a watchful eye on it, but he knows who's around. Billy Dodds is around. Now, can he get himself out of this little cul-de-sac? He can, but Smith let it roll away from him with David Worrell lurking.
Yeah, he's fortunate there, Matthias Jack. He should just have played that out. I tried to be a bit too clever, and it almost cost Hibs.
Telesnikov with a cross, straight to the keeper. Here's Latterby. And he's got the better of Easton this time. Sliding it through, looking for Brebner. And across came David Partridge to cover for Dundee United.
Yeah, Latterby at his very best there. And he hasn't managed to escape Craig Easton often in the game, but he does it here. Just tries to play Brebner in. And there's good anticipation there by DeVos, who just steps across.
Soze's centre. Swirling away from Patalainen. Pasquale won the header. Partridge miskicked, it will be a throw. Alex McLeish's Hibernian, relegated 2 seasons ago, bounced straight back of course as runaway champions of the First Division, but they've only won 5 of their last 42 games in the top flight. Brebner, nice 1-2 with Collins. Hibbs advancing. Smith's going to get there. I don't think it was quite what he had in mind. Sozi. Pasquale clear. Jack to Dennis. Over the top, but coming to the edge of his area was Kuhn. Partridge, Telesnikov now. Latterby stepped in. The other side able to hang on to it for any length of time at the moment. Telesnikov. Davidson. Frank Sozi. Tom Smith. Away by DeVos. Here's David Whirl. Telesnikov takes up the cause, but Hibbs have it back. Collins. Latterby. 3 goals in his last 2 games. Sozi. He rode the challenge of Whirl. Can he deliver the goods? Not really. Cut out by Telesnikov. Whirl. Just spun off the boot of Joachim Ferraz, the giant Portuguese striker, signed on a free from Belenenses. Played for a few clubs in Portugal. Well, I can't pronounce many of them.
They're going to have to find a better final ball, Ian. They're having enough of the game, but the service to the front 2 is very poor at the moment.
I don't think that's going to stay in play. Paul Sturrock's Dundee United. Going well this season, although in the last few weeks they haven't quite performed to their capabilities, but they've still been getting results, apart from a home defeat against Motherwell. Certainly on the road they've been very impressive.
Yeah, I saw that game against Motherwell and they were very poor, and I think it's the inconsistency that is frustrating Paul Sturrock this season. He really doesn't know what to expect from his side these days.
DeVos with a long throw. Pat McGinley under pressure from Telesnikov. Impeded. Here's Smith. McGinley. Matthias Jack. In the central defence. Little mistake though, but it's not going to come to anything. And it's a little scrappy out there at the moment, but you have to say the wind is not helping either set of players.
Yeah, I think if anything it's getting worse. And I know Charlie congratulated the players in the first half for refusing just to knock it from back to front, but there might just be a case for that now of missing out the midfield and knocking it back to front and supporting from midfield.
Dodds. And it just skidded underneath David Whirl's boot. Derek Collins on as a second-half sub. And the former Morton man trying to make something happen now. Frank Sosie. Over the top, looking for Latapi. And Coombe collects.
Better final ball from Sosie. Just dropped it into the area that Latapi was attacking. It's a good ball by Sosie. Alan Coombe does well to make up his mind, come early and take it. But they have pushed Latapi further forward, and Craig Easton has decided to go the whole way with him. Now playing more or less as a central defender, Craig Easton.
Tom Smith. Latapi. And he's nobbled by Craig Easton. Well, it wouldn't be by anyone else, really, would it?
Yeah, I think it's just a mistimed challenge here. I think just Latapi's footwork was too clever for him.
Smith, Latapi. Trying to send it through to Patalainen, but it's sent out by Jason DeVos. Russell Latapi doing his best to shake off Easton, and the glancing header from Mixu Patalainen, but it just went wide.
Yeah, it wasn't far away. It's a good ball in by Latapi. It's pacey. Patalainen gets a nice little glance on it, just gets across the front of Partridge here, and it wasn't far away. A far better final ball in there from Russell Latapi, and Alan Coombe relieved to see that finish just wide.
Here's Dodds, and I think that was meant to be a shot on goal from Ferraz, although he might pretend it was meant to be a pass out wide. Oh, and they were sleeping then, and Billy Dodds has nipped in here, but he's sent it into the side netting, and Hibbs got away with that one big time.
Yeah, Tom Smith relieved there, but another example there of just how alert Billy Dodds is. Doesn't appear to be any danger here at all, but look at the willingness of Billy Dodds to go and close Ole Gutskalsken down, and he almost got lucky there.
Davidson. Here is the ever lively Dodds. And he's got the corner. Really does work so hard. Jason DeVos hoping to make amends perhaps for his own goal, except the corner won't quite reach him. Telesnikov. Davidson hoping to have better luck after his poor corner. Telesnikov's whipped that one in. Oh, and that was right underneath the bar.
Well, they're very good judgment, they're very good fortune. I can't make up my mind which. It's a high ball, and he relies on the crossbar there, Ole Gutskalsken.
Here go Hibbs. It's Kenny Miller. No one on him at the moment. Miller's cross. Patalainen in there. And a penalty given for the challenge on Mixu Patalainen by Partridge. Stuart Dougal not wishing to listen to the protests, and Hibbs had a chance to equalise here.
Well, was he impeded? That's the question. The ball was in the air for a long time here as it comes in, and yes, he is taken there. Mixu Patalainen trying to get to the ball and clearly taken by David Partridge.
So Russell Latapi. The ball keeps getting blown away in the wind here, just to add to the tension. Might have to do what they do in rugby in a minute, someone to hold on to it. You don't really want this when you're taking a penalty. It's Russell Latapi, and it's 2-2. A perfect penalty, a touch of Caribbean coolness.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the game much, Russell Latapi, and he was under a bit of pressure there, and he took the penalty ever so coolly. And this was the cross in from Kenny Miller, and Patalainen clearly taken there by Partridge. And what a cool penalty it is by Russell Latipi. Alan Coombe goes left, and he's wrong-footed. That's a good penalty. And Hibs right back in it.
Russell Latipi, one of the stars of the Scottish Premier League, scoring his 4th goal in 3 games. Dundee United pegged back again. Soze. David Hanna shunting it away from Bredner. The offside flag will go up against Joachim Ferraz, who scored a few goals in the early stages of the season. The foul on Mixu Patalainen, leading to the penalty that was very calmly converted by Latipi. Patalainen flicked this on, and Kenny Miller's route through was blocked by Partridge. Well, the Hibs supporters have found their voices in the second half here. Jason DeVos, Billy Dodds, David Wirral now. Great challenge from McGinley. Always one to get stuck in. Telesnikov with the corner. It was never really going to get past Soze. Wirral. Telesnikov. Latipi helping out in his own box. DeVos still forward, and David Wirral now with a chance to send a centre in, and Telesnikov poked it wide.
Yeah, just try to play it inside the left-hand post there. Good composure there from the Israeli. Hooked in by David Wirral, and he has enough composure to try and pick his spot even from this distance. You can see what he's trying to do, just played across Ole Gutskalsken. He just doesn't get the angle quite right.
Helped on by Patalainen, who seemed to twist his ankle. Hugh Davidson. Dundee United with 5 wins in their last 7 games. Hibs with nothing like that. There are only 2 victories this season coming against Dundee United's city neighbours, Dundee. They beat them 4-3 at Dens Park in a thriller on Sky Sports, and 5-2 last week here. Tom Smith now, an inviting centre as well, got caught in the wind completely though, and eluded everyone. Collins. Latipi. McGinley. Miller helped it on to Grant Bredner. Cleared by Partridge. Russell Latipi finds Frank Soze, and he's fouled by Telesnikov.
I don't think he's unhappy being fouled either, because I don't think he had the legs to get away from Telesnikov there. That's what, 30 yards out.
Will Frank the Frenchman fancy it? Do we need to ask? Is is it going to be a Soze special? In the end, the wall broke quickly. Hanno was straight out at him. Kinley, Latapi. Telesnikov is the man on him this time. Latapi trying to give him the run around. He's assisted by McGinley. And Dennis was in the box, but it all came to nothing for Hibs. They will try again. And they will try again with Latapi orchestrating things. Soze. Got time to have a go, but in the end, he tried to pick out Patalainen and the flag went up for offside.
Yeah, it went up right away, but it's a good spell Hibs are having, and I don't think it's any coincidence that they're managing to get Russell Latapi on the ball far more often now. Just starting to find a little bit of space, drifting off Craig Easton.
Ferraz. And it might find its way through to Dodds. Hibs eventually deal with it, even though they didn't look terribly comfortable about it. De Vos. It bounced off Easton. Patalainen caught by Bernard Pasquale. Free kick.
Yeah, I think it's unintentional. I don't think he saw Patalainen coming in on the blind side there. But it gives Hibs possession back, and they are starting to make it count a bit more now.
One-two between Smith and Miller. Smith struggling to get there. He kept it in though. He did very well, in fact. He's found Miller. David Wirral sent it out of play. Decent spell for Hibs. Latapi. Here's Smith. Miller. Exciting talent. Oh, and that cross seemed to take a little deflection off Partridge, but it was smothered by Coombe, and Davison's hopes of breaking away ended by Soze, but a free kick is given against him.
Yeah, I think he's going to pick up a yellow card for dissent here, Frank Soze. I just wonder if Stuart Dougall's going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He has shown him the yellow card. You should have said it in French, Frank. Although knowing Mr. Dougal, he probably speaks a few languages. Wirral helped it on. Here's Ferraz, just lost his footing. And Hibs may benefit from that. Soze, slide rule pass to Latapi. Miller, Patalainen on Brebner in the middle. Latapi tried to perhaps do a little too much, and it was just nicked away from him by his shadow, Easton. Ferraz is offside. Craig Easton. Lovely touch from Dodds, another throw. Dundee United with 6 wins in the Scottish Premier League this season. And we're only at the end of October. Last season, at the end of May, they'd only won 8 all campaign. Alex McLeish hoping his side can pull something out of the bag here and collect their 3rd win of the season. Paul Sturrock's men 3rd in the table. Here's Russell Latapi. Smith. De Vos aims that one away. I think he was aiming for you on the gantry then, David.
I don't think he's coming back down either.
That one's cleared the ground. New balls, please. Smith's throw. Latterby. Giving Dundee United the run around here. Russell Latterby creating space for himself. Atalainen is there, but it bounces harmlessly. Dodds. Davidson. Collins put the pressure on. Brebner's clearance finding Atalainen, who did well. Smith. Craig Easton says that's mine. And Easton across towards Dodds. Dodds looking for a glimpse of goal. Dundee United still might get that glimpse. No foul given to that barge on Anna. Russell Latterby racing away. Pushed it past De Vos and Kuhn came out. And between them, they managed to force it away, but it will be a corner.
Yeah, De Vos did just enough, but I think Latterby was looking on Kenny Miller to make a diagonal run for him here. And he ended up, he had to try and go past Jason De Vos and just didn't have the pace.
Latterby's corner gets held up in the wind again. And Matthias Jack on the volley. When he just went for the goal kick, in fact.
Yeah, it's getting worse out there. Difficult for the strikers, because anytime a cross has been played in, it's holding up for so long, it's you really don't know when to go and jump.
Grant Brebner's taken a knock and will need a little bit of treatment.
This was an example of just how difficult the conditions were going to be. Only that Skarlsson doesn't react here until it's too late, because he thinks it's going to finish over the bar. That's a great early ball in there by Grant Brebner. Nice step over by Faraz for Telesnikov, and as Charlie said, young Mark Dempsey just fell asleep there at the back post. And the equaliser from the penalty spot from Russell Latterby. What a cool effort it was, considering that he really hasn't been in the game much.
Brebner okay, we're heading towards the final quarter of an hour. Davidson. Collins nicked it away from him, but it'll be a throw. Dodds. Partridge. Too much on it and it will drift behind. A reminder of our Monday night football this week from the Premiership. It comes from Anfield, Liverpool against Bradford City, home banker. That's probably what they thought when Watford went there. Paul Gill, the Bradford boss, back at his old club. It's on Sky Sports 1, and of course for Sky Digital viewers, your chance to call the shots with interactive coverage on Sky Sports Extra. De Vos finding David Worrell. Pasquale. Easton. Which way is it going to go? Hibs really could do with another victory. They face a tricky trip to Kilmarnock next week. We knocked them out of the League Cup recently. And the United next week are home to Aberdeen. I'm sure they might fancy their chances there. Brebner. No way past Partridge, who then gets the throw. Gets it back from McGinley. Poor pass from Smith though. Could Dundee United break away? No is the answer to that, because Latterby was on the end of Telesnikov's pass. Matthias Jack. McGinley. Smith hugging the touchline. Promising for Hearts. It really ran away from Smith actually, and it's gone behind.
Final ball again, and it is difficult for them, but Hibs really have to produce a better quality of ball into the box. They've had the better of this second half, and they look as if they're not content to settle for a draw at the moment. Alec McLeish's side.
Offside flag has gone up quite early against Miller, but it doesn't matter because Dundee United have it with Easton. In towards Billy Dodds, who turns, and it was blocked by Gottskallsim, but Davidson was on hand and cleared off the line by Collins.
Terrific turn here by Billy Dodds. Wrong foot Sean Dennis, but Gottskallsim does well to charge it down, and Derek Collins does very well on the line, getting goal side of his goalkeeper and doing just enough to get it away. Real let off there for Hibs, and once again Billy Dodds who presented the danger.
Davidson's corner, it was he who was denied by Collins on the line. Brebner. Latterby. Oh, he's got a bit of a break here! Oh, yes! It was lashed in by Latterby, and Hibs are 3-2 up.
Well, that's why he's their talisman. That is absolutely magnificent from Russell Latterby, who appears to have nowhere to go here. As the ball's played in, Dundee United have players goal side. Easton's quite happy, he's goal side, he's getting a bit of help now from DeVos. Latterby wrong foots to both of them, and what a finish with the left foot. Tremendous change of feet there by Latterby onto his left side, and so much power in the drive. Absolutely no chance for Alan Coombe. And that is why Latterby is such a hero here at Easter Road these days.
Well, there were stories that we've had a bit of a chat with Alex McLeish and a bit of a kick on the backside from the manager. He's got 5 goals now in his last 3 games. 2 against Dundee last week, 2 against Dundee United this week. Sooner or later, Hibs are going to have to beat somebody from outside of the city of Dundee, but they'll settle for this today. Ferraz. And his effort comfortably collected by Ole Gottskallsim. Hibs ahead for the very first time in the game. Paul Sturrock is going to make a couple of changes with McCulloch and McConaughey about to come on in an effort to salvage things at Easter Road. Here's Dundee United's run of 4 away wins in a row coming to an end here. There could be another Hibs break-on. It's McGinley. Still Pat McGinley wanted to do it all by himself. It was always rising. Double substitution being made. Hugh Davidson is making way, and Scott McCulloch comes on for him. And the other change, we'll see the introduction of young Stephen McConaughey, and Craig Easton is going to make way for him. It's the old last throw of Paul Sturrock's dice.
Yeah, I'm sure this young man's not coming on to pick up Latipi. I watched this lad play for Scotland in the Victory Shield a couple of seasons ago, a real prospect. And a young man who knows how to sniff out a goal or two. Still to find his feet at this level, of course, but well worth the gamble of throwing him in.
Conor, just 18 years of age indeed. Here's McGinley. Pasquale. Conor chasing, but he'll do well to get to that.
I don't think anybody could grudge Hibs this lead at the moment, Ian. They really did come out at half-time with their sleeves rolled up. They weren't content with 2-2, they kept coming forward. United at that stage looked as if they might have been happy with 2-2. And Alan McLeish's side, and the evidence of what we've seen so far, certainly deserve to be in the lead. What about this for entertainment value? And Craig Easton's all over the place. He doesn't know which side Latipi is going to beat him on. Eventually gets a nice kick off the heel of Easton. And look at the power on the shot with his left foot. Wonderful finish.
So Latipi, the star of the show for Hibs, a player of real quality, played for some top teams during his time in Portugal, including Porto and Boa Vista. Alex McLeish's side hold the upper hand. Scott McCulloch just on, looking to put Ferraz away. McCulloch, met by Dennis. Here's Latipi. Soze. Jack. Soze. Collins. His clearance on the line proving rather vital when he denied Hugh Davidson. But it has been a fine effort from Hibs in difficult conditions here, and the United playing their part in the game as well. Extremely blustery is the weather forecast for Edinburgh tonight. Smith. Pasquale. One side of Dodds. Soze was cute. Scott McCulloch. He's miscued that one though. Paul Sturrock's side are running out of time. Such an impressive start to the season. Snatched a victory at St Johnstone in midweek. Here's McCulloch. Now, can Hibs put the seal on it? Latipi, who's on a hat-trick. Looking to turn creator though, and Kenny Miller stumbled. Huge kick causing one or two problems. And Matthias Jack was clipped by Ferraz.
I think it was unintentional there, but Hibs will be quite happy to get the free kick. A chance to get pushed up to the halfway line. They want to try and play the last few minutes on the other half of the pitch if they can.
The Hibs fans are sensing that the points are theirs, but there's still a bit of time to see out here. Dundee United will keep plugging away. It's Wirral. Telezhnikov. There's actually a there's a cat on the field, I think, scampering around. McConaughey. Dodds, but it's safely in the arms of Ole Gottskálksson. Catalina wasn't sure where it had dropped. Miller had a better idea. Bartleby. Collins. Miller. Frank Sosie. Dundee United can't quite get near the ball at the moment. And so the seconds tick away. Telezhnikov really has shown some nice touches since he arrived in Scotland, clipping that one over the top, but Gottskálksson quickly out, colliding with Ferraz, who came off worse.
Good goalkeeping, made up his mind early and decided to come all the way for it. Ferraz has taken a sore one, but it was good. A good decision there by Gottskálksson to come early as the ball was played in behind.
And not only is Ferraz down, but so too is Frank Sosie at the moment. He claps in a heap and needs a little bit of treatment. So 2 players receiving treatment. Man of the match tonight, Davey?
Well, he's having a well-earned drink there. He wasn't in it much in the first half because Craig Easton did a very good marking job on him, but he kept at it, stroked away the penalty at a crucial point in the match. And this was the highlight of the match for me. He gets a little bit of a break of the ball here off Craig Easton, but the footwork is delightful and the hard work was still to come. What a finish that was with the left foot. Just powered it away from Alan Coombe, and he is my Bank of Scotland man of the match tonight.
Ferraz is back on his feet, and so too is Sosie. So the drinks on Russell Latterby tonight, and the Hibs fans will drink to him if they can see out the closing stages of this game. There will be, though, just to add to the tension, 4 minutes of added on time. Hibs heading for their 3rd Scottish Premier League success of the season. The other 2 came against Dundee. This one may well come against Dundee United. And the Frenchman Fabrice Henry is coming on for his fellow countryman Sosie, who limps off after that injury problem a moment ago.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 4 minutes for Alec McLeish and Hibs. I don't think we'll see United try to play through the midfield. I think it'll be route one as often as possible.
So we're into injury time, 4 minutes of it to be played. Can Dundee United salvage a point? McCulloch's throw, Hannah. He's got his cross in. Ball cry from the Hibs fans, not given. Against Hannah, here's Dodds. Telezhnikov. Dodds. Hibs holding firm at the moment. And indeed they could clinch it here is it's just going to drift away from Kenny Miller.
Yeah, just asking too much of Kenny Miller, but Alec McLeish will be quite happy to see the ball knocked into the corners any time Hibs get possession here. Clock's ticking away now, United running out of time.
It's McConnell, and suddenly it opens up a little bit for Dundee United. Is there going to be a twist in the tail? Well, they're going to get a throw-in. Dundee United hoping for a share of the spoils. It's a long one from McCulloch. And there's no flag here against Kenny Miller. Kroon committing himself, and had his touch been a little better, and might have been the perfect end to a perfect day for Hibs.
Yeah, United almost caught chasing the game there, and he's put in a good night's work, this young man. Made an excellent contribution earlier in the match.
Smith with the throw. DeVos nipped in, Telesnikov, Hanna, Pasquale. Nice touch from Dodds to Hanna. Over the top for the youngster McConnell to chase. He's going to get there. What can he do with it? He gets the corner. And there must be just about a minute of injury time remaining, plus any other odd second which Stuart Dougal has found to add on. Telesnikov's corner was not great. Now could Hibs put the seal on it here? They're going to break away. Latterby looking for Miller, and Pasquale with a rather important interception. Stuart Dougal has looked at his watch. Billy Dodds sends it through to Ferraz, who goes round the keeper, goes down, and it's a penalty.
Yeah, my first reaction is that it was a penalty. I think Stuart Dougal's right. We'll find out in a moment when we see the replay. Alec McLeish wanted the ball played in behind a few moments ago. Dundee United break to the other end, and Ferraz is clearly taken there by the right arm of Ole Gotskalskin. Didn't need much encouragement to go down. He did make the most of it, but there's definitely contact there.
Gotskalskin was booked. What drama in the closing seconds here. Billy Dodds to salvage a point for Dundee United. Oh, he's blazed it over. Absolutely amazing. Everything this season had gone so right for him until now.
Well, if there's one man in the Premier League you're going to put your house on here, it's Billy Dodds, the way things have been going for him recently. And he doesn't get over it at all. And what an end to the game for Billy Dodds. Not over the piece, perhaps no more than Hibs deserve.
Well, that was the last kick of the game. And it's anguish for Billy Dodds, and Hibernian are celebrating after all. Wow, that was a close one for Alex McLeish, but they have beaten Dundee United by 3-2. Russell Latterby, very much their hero, and that's a nice touch. Straight across to Billy Dodds to commiserate. That's typical of the man, though, Russell Latterby. And after an extraordinary end to an absorbing encounter, Hibs have clinched the points. This is how it all started. Billy Dodds with the chip, slightly wind assisted, it caught out Ole Gotskalsson. Dundee United ahead. They were soon pegged back though. A clumsy effort really from Jason DeVos trying to clear it, and he hooked it into his own net. That was 1-1, but Hugh Davidson's centre was turned in by the influential Israeli international Jan Telesnikov. That foul by Partridge on Patelainen, though, allowed Russell Latterby to coolly equalise from the spot. And Latterby came back for more. Got a little fortunate break, but look at this finish. A fine finish, delighting his manager. And drama right to the very end, as Billy Dodds, of all people, wasted the opportunity to clinch a draw for Dundee United. Incredible stuff here at Easter Road. It finishes Hibernian 3, Dundee United 2.